Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today, I have another SETON'S clutch match for you. So let's get on to the game by introducing our players, starting customarily in the north with Team 1. We have Cal Draken in Seraphim going first land in yellow. To his east, we have Rar Aeon going first land in in white. It looked purple for a second. To his south in purple, we have Alrand as another Aeon going first and second air. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have Nancy Boy K going UEF in teal. Still haven't figured out the exact color I'm going to name it. In the center land slot. To his mirror on Team 2, we have JT underscore. Mirror match, UEF going first and second land in red. To his west, for the northern pond, we have Microchip as a Cybran going first air, second land in navy blue. I think that's navy blue. Maybe that's regular blue. Anyway, air player in the back, we have Chaos Oni-chan as another Cybran in green going first land and probably much air all day. Then last but not least for the game, we have Morrow as a Seraphim going first air, I'm assuming second land possibly at some point, heading to the north. That is the players for this game, and again, pretty much the most famous map in all of Subcom. It's a 20 by 20. Northern pond, southern pond, lots of navy, lots of air. Not a whole lot of land in the late game, but definitely in the early game we have a lot of land, especially with the comms, 2 comms from the southern team going to the mid with 1 comm going to the mid as well. We'll see how that fares for him. If his partner, teammate does not come up and help him, he will be ousted of that very quickly. Early air scouts out from Alrand, getting a nice view of what's going on over there. Good to see some intel starting very quickly early on. Needing to know what the players are up to on the other side. Obviously, players who play this map a lot know where the spawns are, know kind of the basic build orders for most people, so it's more about just scouting, just have a, oh yeah, the buildings are there, and you can have an attack move or order or whatever down on specific structures. JT stopping to get some reclaim. That's going to allow Nancy Boy to move forward a little bit, but he's also stopping for reclaim. It'd be easier to move up and secure the middle reclaim and then push back and get the other reclaim, because you're wasting precious time going for that reclaim that's obviously in your territory, or at least past the midpoint. We have a Snoop coming out, getting some intel, getting some nice radar. You can see the area of view that they have, as well as I think that's the radar. Yeah, that's the radar. You can see anything coming from a decent distance away. Should be able to see that comm here pretty quickly. Yep, detected that comm. Scooping up that nice juicy reclaim in the middle. Again, 389. So, I mean, that adds up after a while. These Salems are 900. So, if you get 3 of these, better than 1 of the Salems. So, have to pick and choose what you're going for. But both players opting for the units in the middle instead of the Salems to the northern side beach. We have a group of interceptors hovering over the island expansion with a rock position for Alrand, getting that early secure down. But unfortunately, his mirror on the other side of the map has already got forces landed on his island and are starting to scoop up that juicy reclaim, as well as securing those mass points. Combat for the comms in the mid. Nancy Boy's deciding to focus on reclaim. JT's doing pretty much the same thing, except dealing a little more damage to Nancy. Finally, the comm of Morrow comes up. to assist his compatriot in mid. Nancy Boy now down to less than 8,000 hit points in the yellow, deciding, yeah, it's probably a good idea that I back off. There's a lot of units. Dropping down to, 5,000. Sub 4,000. 3,700, sub 2,000 in the red. Almost sub 2,000 in the red, sub 2,500, I should say. And is in the water and is going to hang out there for a little bit. The Calm of Morrow holding position in mid, making sure no units come and flush by. Interesting move. Nancy Boy is not sending out T1 units. He is deciding to upgrade to Tier 2 and going for bombers instead. So different play that I am used to seeing. Oh, poked his head out of the water, lost some more hit points. It's now sub 2,000. Probably not a good idea to pop your head out anymore over there, dude. But we'll see what's going on with that. Seeing if there's any indication. He's just heading back, going the long way around, so no fear of being attacked on the land. We have a sub out from K Draken. I think I'll call him K. Make the naming convention a little easier. Coming in to support, making sure nobody follows, most likely. Yeah, even going in and saying, yeah, not gonna like this. The Calm of GT taking some missiles, taking some torpedoes, and is like, nah, I'm good. Bombers focusing out the anti-air. That's a good move, making sure no units can hit back at you. We have some air scouts and some interceptors on the way for Team 2 as well. So air production starting to be in full swing. Let's see if T2 is on the way. T2 is on the way. Excuse me, I had to adjust my I had a air bubble in my throat. I had to adjust it. It was just blocking my ability to talk very well. Anyway, we have T1. Okay, T2 on the way. Looks like War is a little bit further behind compared to Chaos, but it's still early game. It's only 7 minutes, so it's not a huge deal breaker. Breaker. Again, movement on land, going further inland. We have T2 PD down for Nancy Boy. Good to see we have some naval defenses up and some ground defenses up and running. Let's see, what else do we got? Anything else spicy going on? T2 on the way for Owlrand. Nothing too big. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Yeah, just very much preliminary stuff. Pretty much most of the action in this center causeway. Not a whole big deal. Let's see, do we got anything else going on in the north? No, got some naval production going up, as well as some naval production over here for his opponent. No naval production on the, excuse me, we have naval production on the island, not on the mainland, which is interesting. But also a good point, you can have some engineers over here assisting the assisting everyone. Apologies for that. I had my wife called me and I had to deal with a problem. Anyway, we have some conflict in mid with some air units, but not a whole lot going on. There's some interceptors. I would like to see more anti-air being pumped out. We are getting a T2 upgrade, so maybe we'll see some flak here in the middle. Com for Morrow is on the way back to the naval game in the southern pond. We have some air scouts hovering over. T2 has been completed for Kai, I should say. We have T2. We don't have T2 completed. I don't think it's on the way. It's not on the way even, so tech advantage for the northern team in the northern pond. We have T2 on the way. Nope. Do we have T2 on the way? No as well. So southern players in the southern players for the southern pond, excuse me, are kind of sticking with the T1 spam side of things for now. Control of the northern ponds kind of shifts in and out, but as of right now, Microchip has more of a hold on the northern pond, but we'll see if that T2 play does change things very quickly. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Anything in the back line? Do we have T3? We have T3 Air for Chaos, and do we have T3 Air? It's on the way, so he is definitely on the back foot for air production. He's getting RAS, so getting more resourcing options. T3 on the way for Nancy. So everyone's getting nice tech repped up, nice and good, at least on Team 1 side. Team 2, we just have the air. Again, do we have Okay, now we have T2 on the way for Morrow. And I don't think we have any T2 on the way for Microchip. So that's going to be an interesting fight once those destroyers come online and up to the front. Air fight going down in the south with some interceptors. I mean, it's very not micromanaged or anything like that. So, and this isn't going to mean a whole lot once the ASF start pumping out for both players. But it is good to get some early air advantage just to have some protection for maybe some bombers or gunships or anything of the sort. Again, we have forces from JT in the middle, kind of posturing, making sure there's no run-bys or anything like that. We have a nice defensive line being constructed on the midpoint over here. That fusion reactor is kind of a little far forward. I would have put it back a little bit further. No need to have some T1 artillery come in and just wreck shop, but there is some defenses to help with that, so I just don't see the logic in putting it that far forward. We have transport on the way from him as well, from Nancy Boy. We'll see what he ends up using that for. Usually the only transports I really see are the ones for these side islands over here. That's really about it. Or for engineers coming to the front to get reclaimed. That's about it. Sonar on the way, getting some nice intel for this player in the north of Caden. Draken, excuse me, not Caden. RAS on the way for Chaos. RAS still under construction, and upgrade for RAR. Looks like we have a little bit of advantage for Omnichan. He is faster with T3 Air. He's faster a little bit, at least with his RAS speed. I think he's actually producing that at a speed faster than RAR is. He's only on 70%. He's at already 25%, almost 25%. So he looks like Chaos has a little more resources to his disposal, which means he can devote more resources to other upgrades or building a air grid, which is good to see coming down. We have an air grid started. Nope, because we just have T3 air finished. It looks like we have a transfer of technology for Team 1. We have RAR giving over a T3 engineer to Nancy Boy in mid. They're talking about it in chat. That's a really good move because if he decides to build a artillery, if he decides to build experimentals, he'll have two different types of tech to work with. Good to see the share of resources and capabilities with your teammates. Submarine spam out from Kate Draken in the north, as well as a destroyer. Would like to see these frigates come back and at least take out the destroyer. And you can easily get T2 bombers to take T2 torpedo bombers, take out the rest of those naval units. Still no T2 on the way, it looks like, for microchip. Nope, still not on the cards. Naval forces in the southern part starting to be built up. We have T2 completed and a destroyer online for Morrow. Do we have anything? Looks like this is getting T2. So we are going to have some more investment into the technology in acceleration. T3 on the way for JT in the middle. Has some shields down, has some anti-missile defense, has point defense, has a radar, has flag. Nice fire base up and running. The shields offline doesn't help. And has a stealth gen. So really good forward operating base in the middle channel. The only thing I'm concerned about is if Alrand sends some naval units out and just wreck shop, because that's why not a lot of people sit here for very long unless you control both pawns, because an enemy could just come up with T2 units and just be like, okay, see ya, bye, and that's a long walk back. Just got to be aware of that. Let's see, what did that engineer run off to? Oh, look at what we have here. We have a T4 unit, the Galactic Colossus, being heralded by this T3 engineer, assisted by all these T2 and T1 engineers out, and as well as Nancy Boy getting a T3 mass extractor. That is the first experimental under construction for the game as of right now that I know of. And we will see what's going on in the back line. Not a whole lot, just repping up and stuff like that. Okay, let's see what's his opponent is doing in the north. We have some units starting to be built, some ASFs. Air grid's starting to be formed, but he definitely is on the back foot in the late game. Hopefully that doesn't bite him in the butt later. Consolidation of naval forces for both teams, and kind of a like a demilitarized zone in the middle over here in the southern pond. But in the northern pond we have some cruisers as well as some destroyers out from K, starting to take out the production facilities of his opponent, Microchip. Lots of T1 subs right here trying to assault this destroyer, but the destroyer also has missiles, or torpedoes I should say, so not really interesting trade or interesting combat. But all these frigates sitting here just getting taken out by these torpedo holes from these subs. Not really the best idea, because the frigates can't hit back and they're just being eaten. More destroyers out to kind of compensate. Looks like they're trying to go after this cruiser, but the cruiser keeps moving. That's not really a good trade for Microchip. Could probably pull those forces back and lead with his destroyers instead. That Colossus is almost done. It's at 90,000 hit points. We will see that online here real quick. Does Team 2 have a counter to it? No, but they are building a Fat Boy very far forward with some extra shielding, T3 shielding as well. And like I said, that experimental is done, and it's like I am on a collision course with them. Let's see, how far does the movement go? All the way down to the middle. And it looks like Team 2 is now aware of the Colossus, and JT's like, yeah, I'm out. And has actually been a smart move, started control Kang everything of value. It's a smart move here. If you're going to lose by a large margin and you have some time and some APM, just control K everything and suck up all that reclaim and devote it to something else. No sense in giving that Colossus more vet. And he's even ringed his mass extractor up front. He's going to do the same thing back here. I wonder how far he's going to go. He's going to build some defenses in his main base. And he has T2 engineers. He has a T2 land factory. And that is not upgrading. I don't see any T3. He pulled his comm out. Okay, good to see that. Make sure his comm's out of the water and out of the way. Maybe he'll build some T2 PD. I like these destroyers on the edge, getting some damage onto this Colossus. Colossus pretty much trying to go after him, but obviously it's slower and these destroyers have a large berth, and they can fire from a pretty good distance. So good to see that they are dealing some free damage onto that experimental. Good tactical move. It does devote some units in the pond main area, but his opponent is not really pushing units out. We are seeing some 2 destroyers online here, but there's not a whole lot of offensive going on in the southern pond. Those subs still becoming a nuisance for Microchip. Remember his name for a second. Destroyers online as well. Sending in a frigate or 2 isn't going to do a whole lot. Let's see where these bombers go. They're just going to go after some subs. Yeah, but they're going to kill 2, which, I mean, not bad. But they are going to hit a cruiser with that anti-air. So, I mean, that's already two bombers down. Looks like he's dropping in some engineers that just get immediately eradicated. So, not a good move on that front. Galactic Colossus moving forward. We have T1 PD, T2 PD, and T3 PD in line one after another. And those hit points on that Galactic Colossus. He should keep moving forward and taking out these Ravagers. He is on the way. He's turning around. It's kind of bad mood. We have some Corsairs coming in to deal some more damage. These T1 PD are still out of range. Okay, now it's in range. Those hit points are being shredded. We have 30,000 hit points left. And we have going after the Ravagers. That's a good move because they deal more of the damage, but it's going to be probably too little too late. And this Galactic Colossus is going to go down in the middle. Nice mass gift donation to JT. He'll probably turn that into maybe some upgrades as well as probably recouping some losses from these mass extractors here in the mid. Ras on the way for Rar. Is he going to build another Galactic Colossus? Maybe not. But he is probably going to devote more resources to the naval game. Looks like we have a naval yard on the way for him. We'll be interested to see what he decides to build with that. Northern Pond is getting worse and worse by the day. We have some destroyers out pushing the main factory line of Microchip. This T2 naval headquarters is going to go down. All these engineers are trying their best, but it's not going to be good. And oh, so close. 98% I think was what it got to. Maybe that could have helped out taking out that last destroyer. That's a very tough break. T1 bomber spam out from Chaos, trying to hold back the forces of Team 1. And the ASFs come in and just wreck shop. Let's take a look at the ecos right now. We have 1K for Team 1 and 950 about for Team 2. So 50 mass differential, not terrible, with about a 10k mass differential in totals. That's actually not that bad considering, and obviously Team 2 is getting a bunch of mass from this Colossus. 22,000 in total. Obviously most of that has already been scooped up, but that's a huge chunk of mass, and you can see that differential starting to come back to even, but again 1.1. So Team 1 is starting to out-eco Team 2. So we'll see if that does affect the game as time goes on. Which it will if that differential keeps going on, but maybe Team 2 will come back. Microtrip told me to chill. He is on island time. Probably in reference to where Microtrip is from, most likely. Subs out, going in one by one. Not really going to do a whole lot against these destroyers because they have onboard torpedoes as well. And these anti-air and T1 units are just kind of patrolling, hanging out over there on that island. We did get a snipe on a destroyer from these Corsairs. They are going to die to this flak. But getting another destroyer down is a good move, but there are 2 more in tow, as well as another one in the back line and more cruisers as well. And it looks like maybe they're going T3. They did go T3, just finished. This destroyer, I think, is stuck a little bit. It's like, hey, can I move, please? Hey, guys, you got to get out of the way. I got to get down there. But T3 has been completed for the Northern Pond for Team 1. Oh, what is this? We have a experimental battleship on the way, as well as a regular battleship. So Aeon and UEF tech being combined together here in the southern pond. That is almost 75% completed, and that's almost 50% completed. That'll be a huge boon to the forces of Alrand in the southern pond. More naval production and grouping up going down for him as well. Do we see any response to either of those players? Yes, we do have T3 on the way, and a battleship is 50% completed. And we already have one completed as well, so there will be some hot plasma being thrown at both players from both sides of the pond. We have Seraphim Tech versus Aeon and UEF, so the clash of factions will begin in the southern pond. And it is starting to, but the heavy hitters are going to be coming in en masse pretty quickly. T3 air grid being nice and produced in the southern section of the map for Chaos, as well as his mirrors doing the same thing. Looks like Chaos's is a little bit bigger, but the eco situation, again, kind of favoring Team 1. We should see that differential in factories start to diminish. We have another destroyer out, actually the battle cruiser this time, not destroyer, out from JT, so it's good to see that both players in mid are helping out their southern neighbors respectively. Lots of fighting going on. Looks like the forces of Morrow are able to break through that preliminary line using mainly frigates. I see a few hover tanks, T2 hover tanks. Oh, this would be a good bag right here, getting this cruiser down. Getting some anti-air out of the way. That Tempest has been completed, as well as that battleship and shield boat. So good combo using this extra hit point ship to be able to cover both of the battleships out from Nancy Boy. Good use of tech, good use of units, good use of placing. So that's very good job on his front. For their mirror, we do have more production in battleships coming down, but with that experimental battleship with that giant cannon, AoE cannon, gonna start slicing off those hit points of anything the plasma lands. And that battleship is already half dead, so those shots are definitely taking their toll. It takes out another 8,000 hits, so 3 more hits, and that ship is DOA, dead on arrival. Or in this case, DED, dead. And the other battleship coming in to help. Now it's at 1,000, and it's still alive, and it's gone, with some flak in tow as well. 2 more ships coming in, but rushing in is probably not a good idea. You probably want to pull your forces back. Leaving a lot of this reclaim for Team 1 is not the ideal move to make, especially because you have a lot of destroyers, not a whole lot of destroyers for you. You just have some frigates in the back and just some T3 units. That's another T3 unit. That battlecruiser Neptune is out of the way for Team 1. A lot of talking going on in chat. Missiles coming in against the main base of Microchip, taking out resourcing options as well as factories. Good to see that long range ships being used. JT Control K's looks like he probably just left. Yeah, he's on an upgrade, he didn't die. So he probably was like, yeah, I'd gotta go to bed or something like that, and decides to gift his units over tomorrow and see ya later. Well, I can actually not gift them over, it just transfers over. Is there anything in chat that indicates why he left? Nice work, Microchip, good chill. Oh, he probably is just upset or something, so he just rages. I have no idea what that's about. Something about chilling. Anyway, T3 bombers, strategic bombers on the way from RAR, coming and taking out these resourcing options and rest of the base. Missed that those bombers, so they'll be able to get some nice, good damage. That is 1 mass extractor, and it's going to be the same. Ooh, and the engineers. Ooh, that's. And that was a T3 too. That's the 2nd mass extractor. And does the final turn. Probably not the best. And it's gone. The quantum gateways in the south for Chaos, getting all this nice Rascoms. They produce, well, here we go. They produce 11 mass, so every one of these is 11 mass and 1,000 energy. And they still produce that even if they are constructing something. So you can say that the build is technically cheaper, if you look at it that way. Forces out from Team 1 are starting to push back Morrow in the southern pond with all of these battleships and shield ships and whatnot. They were able to get some, Morrow was able to get some frigates in the back line to start targeting these battleships, but this is like minimal damage. Another battleship has been completed. Looks like he's submersed his ship. Yeah, he was able to submerge it. It's almost dead. Looks like I got a ranking vet, so he was able to start ripping up hit points faster and got a little boost in them as well. But that was close call for him, though. He could have died there, and that may have stifled some of the bleeding going down south. But this horde of destroyers accompanying these couple battleships is not looking good. More battleships in tow for Team 2. Starting to mass produce them. Got 1, 2, looks like 3. No, those are destroyers. At least 2 factories producing them, as well as a bunch of these T1 and T2 producing other auxiliary units. We have some bombers in the way of torpedoes coming out for him as well. I'd like to see that some ASFs diverted to take some of those out. There aren't any cruisers in this mix. There is some anti-air on some of these ships, but it's not as effective as the cruisers or the aircraft carriers. There are some in the back line, but they need them to be supporting the front line. But lots of firepower bearing down on Team 2, and it does not look like it is going to fare very well. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battleships versus 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's just 4 on the front line roughly. Three mainly on the front line, and then 1 kind of in the back line, with 2 experimentals, a couple shield boats, and then we have another battleship in tow, and we have another one, 2 of them being constructed as we speak, and another again experimental in the back line with another battleship. So lots of T3 and some T4 for Team 1. That will definitely inflict some heavy casualties onto Morrow and his forces in the south. It's starting to slow down a little bit. Not seeing a big, huge push, but we'll definitely have to check on that later. Now the ASF coming after the fact. Team 1 has fully conquered the northern pond. It is under their grasp. There are no naval factories for the opposing team, and they are starting to bombard the land structures for Team 2 on the northern beaches and front of that southern section. Spy planes coming out. A horde of strat bombers coming out. Looks like some factories were built in the corner and then were destroyed, probably out from microchip. Got another one of those battleships under finished construction. Let's see, where are these guys going to go, I wonder? That's some flag like, hey, there's a thing over here, hey! So, I mean, the strat bomber's taking some hits, but obviously very minuscule amounts of damage. And like only, didn't even drop it below 3,000. Bomber spam coming in. We got a couple bombs. That one's 2, 3. They're like, oh, that's all our targets, we gotta switch. And then they back up, they're like, we gotta go, see you, bye! Let's see, 1 bomber's been taken out. Let's see if the ASFs come in to deal with that. Doesn't look, maybe 1 loss in bomber, not that bad. That's a really good trade. 1 bomber for 3 mass distractors is a very good trade. Mass distractors going down in the mid as well, with some T2 point defense actually being able to hit some of these boats, and T3 as well. So this Omen should focus fire on the T3 and then have his units back up a little bit. Marrow control Ks. Looks like he's like, yeah, I'm done. This game's getting too one-sided. I'm gonna just check you out. You missed every torp. It's like they're talking to the other team. Oh, that was that making that comment earlier. Dang air. I don't see. There wasn't any bombers and there wasn't any auxiliary damage or units. So it just looked like, yeah, he controlled K. There is a couple. Oh, those are just trees. Yeah. So nothing really killed them. So 2 players on Team 2 have left the game, probably in a fit of annoyance just due to the fact of their performance in both naval ponds. And we're back. Sorry about that. My game had that ran out of video error memory thing again, so I had to pause the recording, get back up to this point, and get going. Anyway, I looked over the footage again, running back through the replay up to this point, and it looks like Morrow gave his units over and then controlled Cade, so he did leave the game outright, but decided to give control over right before he left. I think they were talking about in chat how they're maybe complaining about Chaos and what he's doing or not doing, but I mean, just because a teammate isn't performing exactly how you should doesn't mean you just leave the game just because you don't like the current state of affairs. Let's check back on him as well. Ooh, what is this? We have the Scathis, the experimental rapid-fire mobile artillery. This thing is a beast. It's like the watering can of the game. Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to one single target, but it spreads out all of that damage around an area and just does, over time, just waters everything to death, essentially. Hence the watering can. Anything in the north that could counter that? More, again, Tempest being built. Air. We do have a emissary starting to be online in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see how that goes. We'd like to see some shields, like to see some power generators to help boost the effectiveness of that T3 artillery. And they, Team 1 meaning, probably know about... No, they don't. They could have, had they gone over a little more, but they didn't see the artillery under construction. Anything else in the bases? No. Brass production. Looks like something destroyed that factory. I don't see anything else. Small air grid though, but I guess it's split between the 2 grids. So, and then mass fab farms just all everywhere in that juicy mass. Looks like for total mass we have 1.7. Again, mass fabs for Team 1 and 1.1K for Team 2. And that's making a mass differential of 150,000 mass. So almost the amount, but 3/4 the amount of a Paragon. So you know, it does start to matter a lot. And we have a nuke launch detected out from Chaos as well. And he just immediately goes and just reclaims it. Maybe he just wanted to fire that nuke at something. Looks like it's going to the side island, which would be a good point, getting some of that mass taken out. But it looks like it's actually going for the naval forces. Would have liked to see that nuke placed a little bit far forward and further southwest-ish a little bit. But took out 2. That's like almost a direct hit on that battleship, though. Took out 2 battleships and a couple auxiliary units. But again, that's only going to slow down the momentum by a little bit. So I don't know if that nuke was really worth it. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to fire one off to tell the opponent that he has a nuke and then build more nuke silos, nuke defense silos. No idea. 50%, more than 50%. Scathis has been constructed. Lots of SAMs going up. Looks like he's gonna just hunker down in this southwestern section. Would like to see some more SAMs. Over here, there are some SAM coverage, obviously. Let's see, how many do we got? We got 76. So they, I mean, they cover a good wide berth. But just as you see, if these strategic bombers come in and go this way, I mean, if they group up nice and tight, some of them are going to get through. And then there's nothing back here, and it's just carte blanche down there. ASFs move into counter position, as well as some gunships from Team 1 taking out some build capacity, as well as the rest of the structures out from Microchip. How is that emissary going? It's almost half done. So it is definitely behind the Scathis, which is almost, what is that? Trying to do math in my head. It's like 66%, 67%, maybe close to 70% done. So percentage-wise, the Scathis is being built faster, but we'll see if that emissary can catch up. The unfortunate thing is that emissary does need shields and power generators and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's definitely far behind in that aspect. You cannot connect power generators to the Scathis like you can other artillery, just because it's not stationary. But you can move it, so that, you know, you lose one aspect, but you gain another feature as well. So, you know, it is a give and take in this game. Shield coverage should definitely be better and more comprehensive. Like, there's a huge gap. You know, taking out a couple power generators is very devastating for an air grid. Everything has been taken out for the forces of Team 2 on this eastern side. Is there anything else in the works for Team 1? Lots of destroyers. You could control K like half of these and get the mass back, funnel that into something else. Your opponent is not going to get back into the naval game, sorry. He's just not. Emissary starting to catch up, about 75% done. Nothing in the back line, no nukes, no... I mean, there's a strategic missile defense. Oh, we do have an Oswasher starting to be constructed. Looks like they need more RASCOMs. That's going to be very slow to finish, and that SAM coverage is definitely going to be a pain to deal with. We'd like to see some anti-missile defense, some for these cruisers out from K, or Kai, I should say. But we'll see if Chaos decides to move in that direction. How close are we? We are very close. We're at the 90% mark. Nancy Boy has built another experimental, probably it's not that. Oh, no, it's not that. Where is the... I don't know where that is. Where is it? I don't see it anywhere. I mean, he has 1, 2, 3... Oh, is he... Oh, he's just building Galactic Colossus on the front line. I mean, that's a lot of mass. That's a lot of mass, so... A lot of mass you can suck up and turn that into Galactic Colossus, so... And it's easier for land invasion as well. Probably can control a couple of these Tempests and funnel that back into into either RASCOMs or Galactic Colossus or anything more offensive and economic benefiting. Strat Bomber Rush coming in, but it's going straight after, it looks like, the SMD for Chaos, but is also going after some resourcing options. Ooh, took out all of these, and they're gone. Bombs hit the shields. Does take out one of the shield generators, but that's not a huge biggie. Did have a couple more on the north side. We have a Novak Center as well, and that Scathis is finished. Look at that thing. Look at that thing just fire off its salvos. It does take a second for it to recharge. Already has 76 kills, so getting that all nice and kill count up. It doesn't have veterancy, even though it is a mobile unit, but you can see it spin, and as it spins, we'll go back to the main map. You can see the simulated artillery shells are coming in, and they're spread out, and the further they go, obviously, the more spread out they get. It looks like they are going after the air grid, or at least one of the air grids for RAR. Let's see what they actually end up getting. That emissary is online. That should be shielded. I don't know why it's not. Looks like it's going for this air grid. You can always see some of the shots impacted. So like it's just impacting the shields, impacting everything around it, and half that air grid is now down. It is the watering can of the game, because it just waters and waters and waters. Eventually all of that water starts to be too heavy and just buckles anything and everything underneath it. So a good counter to the Scathis would be just more shielding you can possibly imagine, or keeping everything spread out so you don't get these chain reactions going on. That's the downside with air grids like that. It's like once you get a couple of those power generators destroyed, just the AOE from the volatile structures just eradicates everything. Oh, that mass fab farm. It's starting to be a little weak over there, and that other mass fab farm was destroyed as well. So again, gotta watch out for those volatile structures. And it does say on the structure that they're volatile, so you can always be aware of that. Looks like there's another push coming in. We have a Galactic Colossus, 2 Galactic Colossus coming in to see if they can take out that Scathis. That Novak Center is almost half completed, but it probably will not finish. They're going to focus that Novak, or that SMD. Got T1 PD coming in for the save. Took out one of the Colossus. We have the Calm of Chaos Onichan. Very close. That Galactic Colossus could have easily walked forward and taken out the Calm, but either didn't notice or was busy focusing on something else. We got some torpedo bombers that can't do anything on land. Lots of torpedo bombers. Maybe just trying to target saturate the enemy ASF and SAMs. Almost all of the ASFs have been taken out for Team 1, and without a substantial air grid to replenish those quickly, it won't matter. Strat bombers coming in. Let's see if they're going to be able to take out that Scathis. Flying over some SAMs will definitely diminish their numbers. And more SAMs. Are they going to get it? Are they going to get it? Impact the shields. Takes one of the shields out, and there's one bomber left. And it's going to die off screen. So that is definitely a victory for Team 2. And I don't know what this laser is hitting. I think it's hitting a shield, but I can't tell. Is it just like missing a target? I couldn't tell. Then it's like, oh, I need to move forward. I need to get better sight line on it, and it's dead. That was pretty much a mass skip. Besides that SMD that was taken out, not really a good trade for Team 1, especially over here. I mean, maybe they'll be able to take out that Novax that was under construction, but 3 Galactic Colossus being gifted over to Team 2, not really the best idea. They can funnel that back into more RASCOMs, more ASFs, more bombers, more defenses, more everything, more shields specifically. Chaos needs more and more shields. Just all the shields you can get, plus like 10 more. Looks like this Galactic Colossus is moving forward, taking out some RASCOMs. I don't know if it's going to be able to hit the shield. It's going to be close. But yeah, it just looks like it's not gonna get there in time, and decides to stop midway and call again. We also had a rat support comm out from Draken, and it's not gonna do a whole lot. It was actually too close to the ion reactor to really do a whole lot, and the AOE explosion doesn't do anything. It does take out a shield though, so that's something. Novak Center has been completed. There we go. The Scathis is perfectly fine. Do we have any more RASCOM production? Not RASCOM production. Got the Colossus production. Yes, we got one. And a few more in tow on the way. Watering Can has still not taken out the emissary. That's just hanging out by itself. And this emissary is half completed. So that's going to be 2 emissaries on the way. Ooh, that was close. That would have been a nice chain AoE explosion. Yeah, the air grid, Team 1 is definitely down and out. Oswasher, I don't know if they paused it and came back to it, but more effort is being put into building that. But I don't know if they'll be able to counter the SAMs from Team 2. There is a big hole in the middle of SAMs, so unless Chaos or Microchip builds them back up, that's an easy way into the base. And he built another experiment unit. He has a Fat Boy for some base defense. That is a good idea for those units coming in, but he's going to need more than just the one to do it. So he's already... What is he... Oh, that was from the Scathis. It looks like the Scathis is retargeted onto something else. I don't know what. I'd go after the main base of Nancy Boy, or even Elrand, or maybe even Draken. It's just, they're spread out. There's not a huge conglomerate of resources in one location. You have enough flak. Let's keep making GCs. Yeah, it's a lot of flak. 2 GCs have been constructed. There is a T3 land HQ, so faster production of engineers. Getting some shields up just to be safe, which is a smart idea. Don't want any strap bombers coming in and just wrecking shop. Watering can still doing its job. I think it's... Oh, he targeted the base of Kai. That's a good move. Taking out a decent amount of the build capacity as well as shields and power and all of that jazz. Built another experimental unit. We have a second Novax. So 2 space lasers coming online. The issue with retargeting the Scathis is it does take time to adjust a little bit. And obviously the regen time on that on those shots. I'm surprised he didn't build another one or something to like get those shots out faster. Fat Boy on the front line taking out all this flak. That is a lot of flak, to be fair. Just way more than I think you'll need. I'd go for T3 at the... If you're gonna build this many, you might as well just go for T3 anti-air and be done with it. There's one Lonely Sam out for Team 1. But looks like Team 2 is starting to operate on more, not more and more, but less and less air of that. We have a nuke, battleship-based nuke coming out from Kai, I keep saying Kai, and that is going to land and tear a hole in the defenses of Team 2. Sam's going down, Rascom's going down, PD going down. They've got to figure out at some point that they're going to try that land-based invasion once again. The last match that I casted on this map, the land spam did not work, and Team 2 ended up winning. So we'll see if Team 1 can pull a win for the land spam. Well, having 3, maybe 4 Colossus with reduced defenses will probably help with that. Get some shield units, get some flak, get some maybe some harbingers or something just to soak up some more damage. And just Team 1 deciding to just kind of play, you know, a little bit defensively, not as aggressive as they could be. They do have the best position. Ooh, the shields go down for that emissary. And let's see if that laser is retasked to targeting that emissary. It is, and it's gonna be destroyed unless these Rascoms end up switching over to shield production. Ooh, 700 hit points. Come on, you can build a shield in that time. Come on. Come on. You can do it. They don't want to, I don't think. They're just, I think Rar is distracted with something else. Oh, look, they decided to do it. They decided to do it, and I think it's too late, and it's gone. And they waited too long, and they're like, yeah, we're gone. See you, bye. This one finally under shields. Good to see that. The shields kind of should be built like halfway through, if not at the beginning, so you don't have these issues of, oh, there's a T3 artillery completely unshielded. That's about 60% of the way down. Another nuke out, this time from a silencer, T3 sub, coming into the main base of Chaos, and it looks like it's going for the southern portion. I hear another nuke in the water. Another Novax online. He needs to get more shields done, and this nuke's going to land, tear a hole in his air grid, and even takes out the Calm of Chaos. Ooh, that was a good placement on that nuke. This other nuke coming in to take out the defenses for Team 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Colossus on the way to the front line of Team 2. That is not a good sign for Team 2. We have another nuke, so 3 nukes. Where is that nuke coming from? I thought I saw... Oh, there it is, way down here. We have another nuke coming in, starting to edge out the nuke defense. Is there even another nuke defense in here? There should be. Oh, there's one there, one there, one there. So that one's loaded, that one's loaded. And that one's going to shoot down that nuke. So they were able to actually put it on the edge of the defense perimeter of those SMDs and take some structures out. That Fat Boy is way far forward now and gets eviscerated. 4 Colossus with supporting flak. There are some harbs, there are some artillery units. So good to see that unit comp coming in. This is not good. All of the bombers in the world cannot put enough damage fast enough. Where is the comm of Microchip at? Where's your comm? He's over here. If those Colossus come in closer, it's not going to be a good day. Not a good day. And that first Colossus is still online with 2 more healthy ones and a semi-healthy one in tow. That comm needs to move now faster than he's ever moved before. Oh, he's building up a Meg. That's kind of late on that front. Sorry, bud. Air grid going down. All of the satellites have been retasked back home. I don't think it's going to be enough. Looks like they've seen the comm. Yep, there's the comm. And he's underneath the shield. So it's not going to matter. And boom. That is the last comm out from Team 2. That means that is a victory for Team 1 with no comm losses. So all 4 players making it to the end of the match for Team 1. I thank you all for watching and being patient with the little issues that have gone on with recording this video for y'all. Again, I thank you so much for all the support, and I will see you all in the next one.